Today, mirrors no longer surprise anyone, but in the past they were a symbol of luxury and power. Moreover, since ancient times they have been considered mysterious magical artifacts that help our world maintain a connection with otherworldly forces. We will tell you all about their mystical intricacies, when a mirror can bring a curse, when it can invite evil forces into a home, and even when it can cause harm to its owner. In the end, you will learn whether a broken mirror is something to be feared, and how to avoid problems if it has already happened. Mirrors, as we know them today, were made of copper and various minerals like obsidian in Mesopotamia and Egypt around 3000 to 4000 years ago BC. In the mid-1800s in Germany, Justus von Liebig developed a chemical process for creating the modern mirrors we use every day. Due to their long history, there are many superstitions associated with this common item. When you see a reflection, it is always reversed, and in ancient times, this was considered a unique window to an alternate world where your soul is reflected. Mirrors are indeed considered portals to other dimensions connected to our reality. However, where they lead specifically depends on various factors, including the history of their owners, the circumstances of their creation, their placement in the house, and possibly even the time of day when they are viewed. Mirrors can be the key to the mysterious world of the other side, where each inhabitant feeds on the emotions and beliefs of their real-life counterpart. The size of a mirror corresponds to the width of the portal it represents. Mirrors are like information storage devices, capable of recording, transmitting, and even reflecting back to the house events and emotions that occur within it. They introduce subtle echoes of the other world into our real world. If a constant negative energy prevails in a house, a mirror can absorb this negativity and reflect it back. This can affect the atmosphere in the house and even the actions of its inhabitants. It's no wonder that mirrors are used in numerous occult rituals, allowing for a connection with the other world or obtaining answers about the owner's future, not to mention curses and other rituals, which we'll delve into later. Stories related to mirrors are amazingly diverse and can be found in cultures all over the world. In the East, mirrors are considered much more than just reflecting surfaces. They symbolize mysticism and a connection with divine entities. Shamans actively use them to call forth spirits and communicate with other worlds. In these cultures, mirrors also symbolize the moon and are often used for contacting deceased relatives. However, in most cultures, mirrors are initially neutral, not carrying either positive or negative energy. They are simply instruments, dependent on the intentions and energy of those who possess them. Ordinary household mirrors can also accumulate the energetic residue of events that occur in front of them over the years. Mirrors primarily record events that carry emotional charge, whether it's fights, violence, scandals, or even murders. Death that occurs in close proximity to a mirror has an especially strong impact on it. In many religions, it is believed that a mirror can capture the soul of the departed. Therefore, it is customary to cover mirrors in a house where 40-day memorial services are held. During this period, according to beliefs, the soul of the departed in the world of the dead seeks a new place of residence and can get trapped in the other side. Numerous accounts of relatives seeing the deceased in the mirror support this belief. Mirrors also influence our emotional state and health. We often approach them to boost our mood or examine our emotions, grimacing and perking up. However, they are also capable of amplifying our negative state by reflecting it in our appearance. Many esoteric practices use this property of mirrors to influence the human body and emotions. When it comes to summoning spirits, many people are familiar with the Queen of Spades from their childhood. This is one of the most amazing and mystical phenomena associated with mirrors. Her name simultaneously attracts and frightens, as she is associated with hopes of predicting future love, but also with the fear of death if something is done wrong. The legend of the Queen of Spades has been passed down from generation to generation, and summoning her using a mirror is considered the most accessible ritual. According to this legend, she has the ability to reveal a person's future love, but only if the ritual is executed perfectly. All you need is a new deck of cards, a candle, and a small mirror. But there are hundreds of variations of the summoning, and each one ends with a chilling warning. If you make a mistake, the Queen of Spades will not forgive you, so summon her as you wish. Interestingly, scientists have conducted research in an attempt to unravel the origin of this legend, but the information is very convoluted and crosses various cultures. References to the Queen of Spades and the methods of summoning her go back to the past, with mentions dating back to the 16th century. It seems that children back then were already trying to establish a connection with the other world by playing with mirrors, thus creating this enigmatic legend. Playing cards, and especially the Queen of Spades in a deck, are associated with symbols of evil and the enemy when it comes to divination. This adds an additional layer of mystery to this legend, making it even more mesmerizing. Another story directly related to mirrors is the summoning of Bloody Mary. It too is surrounded by numerous mysterious versions and myths. Some associate her with the cruel Queen of England Mary I, known for her executions, while others see her as a witch or a girl who met an unfortunate end. In reality, there is no credible information about whether the spirit of Bloody Mary exists within a mirror or in any other form. The legend itself is quite similar to the Queen of Spades. With the right approach, a person should be able to see their future spouse in the mirror. However, there is also a risk involved. Instead of a lover's reflection, a skull may appear in the mirror, signaling an impending death with no possibility of avoiding it. Conducting rituals to summon spirits or any other ceremony related to the other world requires caution and can be a highly risky experience. It is strongly recommended not to engage in such experiments for ordinary individuals, as they can induce stress and negative emotional consequences. Some people might even go insane because mirrors can reveal things you never expected to see. Try to avoid solitude when performing even the simplest of rituals. There should always be someone present who can provide support and interrupt the process if needed. But in general, it's better not to toy with mirrors, as such practices are considered real magical activities, even if they're considered childish summoning rituals. Furthermore, many cultures and religious traditions consider such practices dangerous and undesirable. It is also important to pay attention to the ethical and cultural aspects associated with magic and esotericism. Finally, be skeptical of everything you find regarding summoning and enchantments, as social media posts are unlikely to help you connect with your loved ones. Next, we will tell you a very real story that will demonstrate how dangerous mirrors can be. In 1997, a strange story related to an antique mirror in a gilded Baroque frame inscribed with Louis Up of 1743 appeared in French newspapers. The Association of Antique Collectors warned enthusiasts of antiquities that this mirror had been stolen from the French police and could be dangerous for those who gazed into it. Little is known about the master of this mirror, but researchers discovered that he was nearly executed for practicing magic, although his connections to the court of King Louis XV saved him from this fate. Several mysterious events occurred around the upper mirror. In 1766, a banker named Kyriakos Ganzakeci acquired the mirror but then disappeared along with his coachman while trying to give it to his relative. No traces of these two individuals were found in their home or in the surrounding area. They simply vanished. In 1853, the mirror was gifted to Laura Noel, who dropped dead after a single glance into it. An autopsy revealed that the cause of death was a brain hemorrhage. The mirror was stored in the French gendarmerie's warehouse until the end of World War II. It was only then that the Marquis de Fornaroli, who was part of the elite of the Third Reich, decided to gift it to his beloved. His wife disappeared without a trace the very next night, and she was not even found when the Gestapo was involved. It's clear that there's much skepticism regarding anything related to the supernatural, so we are obligated to discuss how scientists explain such events. Stories about summoning spirits and their connection to fatal outcomes are often spread as urban legends, especially among children. However, there are no documented cases of entities summoned from the other world causing death in front of a mirror. Typically, deaths of people were attributed to strokes, heart attacks, and other common medical conditions. Mystical images seen in the mirror may result from visualization induced by psychological factors. An experiment conducted in Italy with 50 participants confirmed that. In a dark room under specific conditions, people can start seeing various images, including their own distorted faces, their parents, and mystical creatures. This is explained by the peculiarities of human perception. The ritual of being in front of a mirror in a dark room with a candle can indeed trigger fear and hallucinations in a person. Our brains can strongly respond to fear and generate visual illusions. Whether to believe that there is something supernatural is a personal choice, but where there's smoke, there's fire. Therefore, we suggest discussing what curses and enchantments through mirrors represent. Cursing through a mirror is a dark and dangerous practice that involves attempting to harm another person through the use of the reflective surface of a mirror. This form of black magic is practiced in extreme cases, when other means or methods appear inadequate or ineffective. Such black rituals are usually conducted in secret at night, and they can have serious consequences both for the one performing the curse and for the target of the curse. This type of magic possesses dark and destructive energy, and its use is considered negative and morally unacceptable. Practices associated with cursing through mirrors are often accompanied by beliefs that they can weaken the target, making them controllable or submissive. However, these actions affect one's karma and lead to serious consequences for the initiator, as mirrors remember everything and reflect it over time. It is essential to emphasize that such practices violate the human principles of creation and compassion. Many cultures and religious traditions seek to prevent or prohibit the use of black magic and curses. When conflicts or problems arise, it is recommended to turn to peaceful and constructive means and methods for resolving them, as well as seeking help from qualified professionals, such as psychologists, lawyers, or spiritual leaders. I'd like to talk specifically about what many esoteric beliefs caution against doing with mirrors if you don't want to complicate your life. Don't look into the mirror at night. This is associated with creating a portal for otherworldly entities and poses a potential threat from spirits. The time between midnight and 3 a.m., often referred to as the witching hour, is particularly considered dangerous. Avoid negative words. When near a mirror, it's best not to express negative emotions or dwell on negative events, as they can intensify and influence your life. Avoid mentioning sickness, horror, foolishness, misfortune, suffering, loneliness, poverty, or self-criticism. Don't gift mirrors. Mirrors can be used in various rituals, including dark ones, so they should be received with caution. If someone gifts you a mirror, you can try cleansing it by washing it in running water and drying it thoroughly. You can also keep it in a box with salt for 3 days and then rinse off the salt from both the mirror and the box. Don't look at your child through a reflection. Children have more delicate energy fields, and malevolent entities can negatively influence them. Parents of children under the age of 5 should exercise special caution. Don't gaze into a mirror in pairs. A mirror not only reflects our appearance, but our thoughts as well. Therefore, it's considered unlucky to gaze into it as a couple. In such a case, you won't be able to hide anything from your significant other, or you risk finding out things you'd rather not know. Don't place mirrors opposite the bed. Mirrors, especially those that reflect your bed, should be covered at night. After midnight, they can become getaways between worlds, and looking into them while dreaming is dangerous. At best, you may experience recurring nightmares. And now let's discuss the most famous superstition found in many different cultures. A broken mirror is considered a bad omen and is associated with various superstitions for various reasons. One superstition suggests that you should expect 7 years of bad luck. This number holds particular significance in numerology, as well as in religious and cultural beliefs. For example, the ancient Romans believed that reflective objects could contain souls and even evil demons. Therefore, when a mirror was broken, it was believed that all these negative entities were released and haunted the culprit for 7 years. On the other hand, the Romans also believed that a person's life is divided into 7 cycles, each with its own characteristics. For example, the first 7 years represent a stage of development, and the following 7 years represent a stage of reason. When a mirror was broken, it was thought that this cycle was disrupted, and a void entered the person's life, lasting exactly 1 cycle. How do you avoid what is considered an unfavorable curse? If you've had an accident and managed to break a mirror, the first thing you should do is maintain a positive attitude towards what happened. The best way to avoid 7 years of bad luck is not let yourself believe in the curse. After all, a person's mindset directly affects their energy and protection from curses. If you want to perform a ritual to avoid negative consequences, there are several simple methods. For example, you can toss a pinch of salt over your left shoulder, symbolizing the rejection of negativity. Another option suggests that you can place a large shard from the broken mirror under the light of a full moon and then forget about the curse. After performing these rituals, you should promptly dispose of the mirror, wrapping it carefully in dark fabric. Otherwise, the mirror might attract negativity into the space. However, remember to handle the shards with gloves and wash your hands thoroughly with running water to ensure no small fragments remain. Many people handle them with bare hands and then lament the curse after cutting themselves due to their own recklessness. Mirrors have become imbued with mystical stories, superstitions, and mysterious rituals. It's challenging to distinguish what's true from mere childhood tales. Still, denying that mirrors possess their own unexplained energy would be foolish. Thank you for watching.